Hey, crypto fam, it's Mike here at CryptoEase. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can borrow against your crypto tax free. We're going to use Curve Finance and we're going to solve that tax problem. The tax problem a lot of people have is they want to go sell their crypto for cash, but that creates tax events. And I'm going to show you a smarter way how you can borrow against your crypto and then use that money to make more money or help you with life events. And again, we'll use Curve Finance for that. So, why should you listen to me? Well, in May 2020, I got started with crypto. I started with $100 in Bitcoin, and less than a year later, I created a portfolio over 500,000. I've also helped hundreds of people make six figures and seven figures in 12 months or less with crypto. And if you watch this video, I'm going to show you the steps you need to get ahead with your portfolio, how to borrow against your crypto assets, and you could be one of those people and do things exactly the way I do them. Now, I've borrowed against my crypto many, many times. It's helped me out of tight spots, and it could help you too. If you have any questions during this video, you're welcome to add them to the YouTube comments below, and I'll respond to them in my next video. But if you'd like to go faster, feel free to join my group. It's free right now for the first 89 members, and I'll give you a quick tour there. This is the About section. You'll find the link in the description below. But I want to point out a couple things. There's testimonials that are just piling up. There's bunches I don't even have here. And these are all people that have had success, my family, my friends, people I don't even know that join the group daily. And I'm excited. Also, I just want to show off my little bumper sticker here that I got printed up. And it says, I sold my Porsche to buy crypto. So truth is, I used to drive an Audi A6, but now Porsche and Audi, they're the same company, but I just thought a Porsche was catchier. And oh, I actually have some of those stickers to give away to group members. So if you're into merch, you might like that. The other thing you might want to check out is how I helped my Nan get her Coinbase set up. That's a fun little video. So yeah, we're family friendly, and I hope you join us. All right, let's get back to the task at hand. Um, oh, my disclaimer. Ooh, big disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I am not a tax professional. I am not a lawyer. I'm simply a cyber engineer, cybersecurity engineer that had a lot of good luck with crypto, and I do tons of research in the area. I've been researching it for 5 years and have stellar results there. So this advice is educational and entertainment in nature. Okay, let's move on. So why do we want to use Curve Finance's LLAMALEND? Well, first, I'm assuming that you want to borrow against your crypto assets in DeFi, in decentralized finance. If you have assets in your Coinbase account or your Binance account, they have lending services there, but they're going to make more money off of you and you have less control. I'm a big advocate for self custody and privacy. I think privacy is normal, and I think we all have the right to be our own bank. And that's what I teach through my group. But if you want to be in Coinbase, or you want to be in Binance or Kraken or Gemini and do that, you're perfectly fine to do that. Ask me questions about that and I'll help you. But specific to Curve Finance, I only recommend proven projects that are battle tested, that have been around the block. They've had hacks before, they've dealt with them, they know how to take care of their users, and they're always going to be there. They've proven that since 2020 already. And they also have a novel soft liquidation mechanism. Now, let's take a look at the definition of what that is. So, it's a gradual, automated collateral rebalancing mechanism. And it uses its stablecoin, CRV USD. CRV stands for Curve. And I love this acronym. It uses a unique lending, liquidating, automated market maker algorithm. And they did that because they like Llama. If you're into Curve Finance, you know what the llamas are. There's NFTs and stuff like that. It's cool. But basically, the essence and the important part for newbies is this actually protects borrowers from sudden complete liquidations that are actually very common on other platforms. Yeah, I just read that out. But it's true. I've borrowed against other platforms. I've borrowed against my crypto over the years, all the way since 2021. And I've had some sleepless nights worrying about hard liquidations. So this soft liquidation mechanism is a key point to why I want you to use Curve, because I'm going to sleep better at night knowing that you're using a proven team, trusted platform, and they have the tech to back it up. So let's move on, right? Let's do a quick recap. In my last video, which you can find in my channel, or I'll link it up here. There it is. I ran through how you can go from Coinbase over to Curve and use combination of Curve and Beefy to get passive automated yield. So hands off, set and forget DeFi. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to unlock extra cash flow borrowing against assets you already have. And I'm a firm believer that with DeFi, the power of DeFi, and the power to be your own bank, you need to put your assets to work. Don't just buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever and just leave it sitting there. No, no, no. Make those little dollars go to work. Okay. Well, Bitcoin or Ethereum, really. And that's how we use DeFi to do that. And I'll teach you all of those ways. This is just the introduction to how to do lending. Are there other platforms for lending? Yes, there are, but I'm focusing on Curve because it's a proven quantity and I love the environment. I'm an investor myself. Okay, so before we get started, here's what you're going to need in case you're not aware. First, you are going to need to have a DeFi wallet like Rabby or Phantom. Those are the two I recommend, or MetaMask. There's many others. But if you want to get your Rabby set up before you do this, here's a video for that. Boop, boop. And the assets that we want to borrow against are typically going to be things like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stable coins. Popular assets, blue chip crypto assets are available in the Curve markets. On other platforms, they get into riskier assets, they get into different LTV calculations. That means loan to value. In other words, how much I can borrow against my asset or my collateral. Um, and something else you're going to need is you're going to need a little bit of gas. Today, we're going to be operating on the Ethereum mainnet with the CryptoEase.eth test wallet. And I'm going to show you how to borrow against some Ethereum. And I'm just going to be doing an example. And so not using big amounts or anything like that, but illustrative of the process. And that's the part you need to get familiar with in order to be successful at this. And remember, this can be a lot of information coming at you right now. DeFi is complicated, and that's why so few people are taking advantage of it. And that's what I'm trying to do for you, is to at least give you a reference point. You can come back to this video again and again and make sure that you're getting the steps right. Okay, so in today's video, we'll do a demo shortly. We're going to be depositing some Ethereum and we're going to borrow against that we're going to borrow some Curve USD, CRV USD, which is a stable coin. And we'll be using that Ethereum as collateral, and the original assets will stay. Okay, so they actually will earn yield. So get this, I have Ethereum. I'm going to deposit it into Curve's LLAMALEND. I'm going to earn money on that Ethereum, and then I'm going to borrow against it and pay just a slightly higher rate. And so you're going to see that despite those percentages, I'm only going to land up paying maybe 1% or something like that. It's really fantastic. And I have access to my money 24/7. I can repay that loan on a Sunday, after church or after lunch, if you go to church. Oops. So you have access to your money 24/7. And that's a key function of DeFi. Also, you are fully in control. You do not need to talk to anybody. You don't need to call the bank. You don't need to ask the bank manager, oh, please, can I borrow some money? You don't need any of those things. So that's the beauty of borrowing against your assets. If there's a life event, something happens in your family, a health emergency, you want to travel to Hawaii for Christmas, or you want to buy a new car, or you want to borrow money to make more money. That's what I'm about. So stay tuned to future videos. But for now, let's go ahead and do that demo. So I'm going to flip over here now to my Brave browser. And Brave is my preferred browser for any crypto functions. I recommend you check it out. I'll link that in the description as well. And here we are at Curve Finance's site. That's curv.finance. I'll put that on the screen here. Always make sure you're using official URLs. Scammers like to try and trick you to go to their sites and drain your wallet. Okay, here we are in the LLAMALEND function of Curve. And first, let's go to my Rabby wallet right here. You'll see that here. That's the CryptoEase.eth test wallet. It ends in 8084. And I want to go and see what's going on in my Ethereum wallet. Okay, well, I have some USD. See, I have a little bit of ETH, and I have some Curve USD. Now, I want to borrow against ETH, but I also need some ETH for gas, right? So you're tracking me there. I'm going to buy some ETH first before we get started. So I could do that in the Rebby wallet, but because we're using Curve today, I'm going to head on over to their DEX. DEX stands for decentralized exchange. And I'm going to go to the quick swap function right here, and that pulls up this little swap window. And over here, I have my wallet connected. I can see there it's connected, and I can also see that I am on the Ethereum chain, which is where I want to be. If I were to change this, let's say if I change this over to Fraxtel, then my Rebby wallet would actually switch over to Fraxtel right here. But I'm going to go back to Ethereum, and you'll notice that Curve automatically switches back to Ethereum. That's how that DApp is connected to your wallet. Okay, so oops, it didn't go back to Ethereum. There, now it's back to Ethereum. Okay, now I did say I want to buy some more ETH. In fact, I want to buy wrapped ETH. And I'll explain that in a second. But let me go ahead and choose my CRV USD. I'm going to choose max, $21 there. Going to buy some ETH to borrow against. Go ahead and approve spending. First, we approve that. That's a small transaction fee. It pops up in my wallet. Go ahead and approve that. And bear in mind, for the purposes of the video, I'm using fast transactions, which cost a little more, so that they happen pretty quickly within the video. And once that is approved, oh, gas is also up a little bit there. Got my gas tracker. I like to use Etherscan for tracking gas. All right, so the spending was approved. Let me go ahead and do my swap. And again, I'm swapping some stable coins over to Ethereum. And I know that looks high, but I need this to happen fast. So feel free to donate to offset some of my transaction fees. You can find my wallet, the CryptoEase test wallet at cryptoease.eth. Okay, so I bought some ETH. Let's head on back to the LLAMALEND side. This is the borrowing side. And I actually just cleared out a borrowing position over here. I was hoping it wouldn't show up, but that's okay that it does. It's not a big deal. If you come to the interface the first time, you're going to see LLAMALEND markets right here. And some people complain about the Curve Finance interface. They've improved it dramatically over the years, but I will say that it's always a lot of information. Okay, and that is part of the power and responsibility of being in self-custody and having this control and having 24/7 access and being in charge of your own money. It comes with a responsibility, and if you don't want that responsibility, go back to Binance, go back to Coinbase, and use their features. You'll pay more for them. You won't earn as much, but you still have access to those. And you also need to provide your identity, and they'll track you for that. So if you don't like those things, that's okay. Let's head on over to this is the pool that I want to be in right here. Now you'll notice this little leverage fire thing. We're not using leverage today. All I'm doing today is depositing some ETH, and then I'm borrowing against that. Okay. And let's pop into the pool here. And what do you notice here? You'll see my supply rate is 808. That just changed. And what that means is when I deposit some WETH um, into the pool, let's do max. Why are we not showing up yet? Is it still refreshing? Could be. Let's make sure. I love the live stuff, right? Yeah, it makes it super real. Okay, there's my WETH there. It's in my wallet, and we haven't seen the refresh here. So let's just refresh the DApp and see what happens there. It's busy refreshing from the blockchain live, and that's the beauty of this distributed computer that's Ethereum. ETH is down a little bit today. That's okay. It's up overall on the year. The point is, though, I need to borrow some money. I want to take my daughter to lunch, and I need $10 to buy something at Subway. So first, I'm going to add my collateral. Oops, my bad. Let's head over to collateral. Well, I could do it there. No, I'll just do straight in the loan. So you'll notice a couple of interfaces here. First of all, I'm just going to touch on them quickly. I don't want to get wrapped up in detail, but I'm happy to answer any questions about this lots and lots of info that you see here. I recommend you spend time with it and bring your questions to the comments or bring them over to the group, and we'll take care of it there. But essentially, you'll see that I'm going to add from the wallet my max of Ethereum, and I want to borrow $10. So this interface allows me to deposit collateral and borrow in the same transaction set. So I'm going to borrow 10 CRV USD, and I'm going to go ahead and create that loan. Now that's submitting that transaction. I thought it was submitting that transaction. Let's check transactions here. Okay, there's my exchange there. And borrow, supply, deposited, borrow. I did that parse. Did I not click something? Let's try it again. There's no transaction being created. So, oh, it repopulated the max borrow amount. So that just took a second there. Okay, and here it's telling me my health is green. When your health is green, that's good, but always keep an eye on it. This is kind of a low percentage that I'm doing here. The blue will give you a summary of what you're about to do. It says, hey, you're depositing this much WETH, you're borrowing $10. That's the loan details. And you can also check additional market details. You can see the fees, where they go, some of the other factors involved there, what the Oracle price is, and the base price. And that's a lot of extra detail. But let me go ahead and get a loan. Here we go. We're getting my loan, pending wallet confirmation. And you'll notice that fee's kind of high, $4. Typically, you wouldn't be getting a loan against $20 of ETH. It'd be like a couple of thousand, something like that at least. And you'll notice that my supply rate is 8%. That means I'm earning 8% on the ETH that I deposit as collateral. At the same time, I'm borrowing at a rate of 10.8%. Now, when was the last time you went to your bank and said, hey, I need to borrow some money against my house? And they said, oh, you're supplying your house. We'll pay you for supplying your house as collateral, and then we'll charge you for the loan. No, never. They make all that money. You don't. With crypto, it's a little more honest, and with DeFi, it's super honest. So decentralized finance is where you want to be. Now, my loan is done, and hey, I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't call anyone. I didn't beg a bank manager. And let's go and see what the status of my wallet is. I click on Ethereum in my Rabby, and hey presto, there pops up my $10 in Curve USD. So I can go and spend that, or I can take that $10 and I can go and invest it further, and that'll be in other videos. But just in this piece, we're borrowing against our assets. And some of the other things that uh, I just wanted to show you here is on these screens, you can go and add more collateral from your wallet, and then you can borrow even more. So we just borrowed, in summary, go back to my wallet here to summarize the steps again, because it is a lot, I get it. I deposited some Ethereum into Curve's LLAMALEND, and I then borrowed $10 against that. Now you might be wondering, well, I want to, use LlamaLend, but I want to use a different platform. Well, the great news is Curve's LlamaLend is available on Arbitrum, Fraxtel, Optimism, and Sonic. Sonic is a newer chain by Andre Cronje. Yay, Andre! But I do a lot on Fraxtal. That's my choice. The fees are lower, and it lets me do a lot of iterative stuff, and then I ship loan money wherever I want to send that. And usually when I'm borrowing money, I'm not borrowing money to spend on anything. I'm borrowing money to buy more crypto, more and more. Okay, so that's the end of the demo. Let's flip back to our little guide. Okay, and so let's talk a little bit about tax-free matters. Now, remember, I'm not a tax accountant or anything like that, but basically, when you borrow against your asset, there is no taxable event. This is how CEOs like Elon Musk can make claims like, oh, I only get paid $1 a year in salary, because they live off borrowing money against their assets. They're borrowing money against their stocks and things like that. And those stock prices appreciate. So crypto does that too. If I'm borrowing against Ethereum today at, what is it, 4,300, I have a cute little app there. 4,300, tomorrow it's at 6,000, I could borrow more if I want to. but you do need to be careful and manage the amount that you borrow. Keep an eye on your loans, okay, and always be testing. Test small amounts, please. That's always good for newbies to do, and that has saved me a lot of money by just doing test transactions first. No capital gains tax. When sorry, if you're selling your crypto, then you trigger a capital gains, regardless of which country you're in. For most countries that have taxation, that's the case. And this is honestly how the wealthy build liquidity. And this is how you can build a bigger and bigger crypto portfolio, is through borrowing against your assets. There's at least 13 other ways I can teach you in DeFi how to grow your portfolio, but this one is really great for people that are coming from small, humble beginnings, looking to grow that portfolio, borrow a little bit, invest that again, grow that, then borrow against that, invest again, and so on. And of course, hey, always go ahead and confirm with a tax pro what's going on. Um, okay, let's tie this back to an income goal. So, my goal for everybody is to be earning 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 a month with DeFi. Anybody can do it. And yes, part of that does come down to what you put in. But what we've demonstrated in this video is you can get more money against your existing assets, and that's not additional money you put in. So with disciplined steps, you can get ahead, you can create that additional income. I can then take that Curve USD I borrowed and go and invest that in other platforms, which we can discuss later. So um, the other thing you can do is you combine that with one of my automation videos so you can get that set and forget factor, using something like Beefy for yield and so on. Okay, that kind of wraps up the video. And again, recapping, borrowing in DeFi is very powerful. It's very tax efficient. It's a fantastic way for people like you and me to grow our portfolios and to get from, 4 or 5 figures up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 figures. All of these things are possible. We want to do it safely. We want to follow crypto safe tips. We want to do things safely. I have other videos on crypto safety you can check out. But if you like this video, then I think you'll enjoy this video right here. And if you do want to get extra steps and support, you want to go, as fast as you want to go or as deep as you want to go. If you want to unlock how to grow your crypto hands off, then go ahead and join my group, or just go ahead and ask your questions in the comments. And I'm happy to, give you all of the information I can. And hey, I guess that's the end of the video. I got the group. You can join it. It's free for now. Soon it'll be paid. That's okay. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I'm actually happy I made this video again. I redid the format a little bit. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful day and happy lending in crypto. See you around.